This is the ultimate secure shelter because it is built with hundreds of stones, framed with century-old logs. The indoor space is not only spacious and bright, but also features a heated bed connected to the fireplace, providing continuous heat. Outside, there is even a dedicated enclosed courtyard. Such an idyllic lifestyle is truly desirable. Tired of the city's hustle and bustle, Aqiu brought his dog deep into the forest, planning to build a shelter and begin a solitary life. After some searching, he chose this flat clearing before him. First, he hammered several logs into the ground around it, outlining the overall area of the shelter. Next, he swung his shovel to dig the foundation trench, laying the groundwork for the subsequent construction. Afterwards, Aqiu ventured deep into the forest, collecting many stones at the foot of the mountain. Using the mountain slope for transportation saved him a lot of physical effort. With everything ready, he dug another deep pit in the ground, placed a fine mesh sieve over it to filter out impurities from the soil. Then he sprinkled lime in, poured in clear mountain spring water, and repeatedly stirred to mix grade 42 concrete. Paired with stones stacked layer by layer, he built up the walls around the shelter. Facing some stones weighing tens of pounds to make moving them back and forth easier, Aqiu found a thick log, leaned one end against a nearby tree trunk, and rested the other end on the ground. Using the principle of leverage, he assembled a simple lifting device, which saved him a lot of effort in moving the stones. During this time, he also built a heated bed against the wall inside the house, connecting the flue to the fireplace. This way, when the fireplace burns in winter, the heat will flow through the flue into the bed, keeping the entire house warm and comfortable. When the wall was built to half its height, he brought over a naturally curved tree trunk from nearby, placed it on one of the walls. The size fit perfectly, serving perfectly as a window frame. Next, Aqiu brought over a few more logs to start assembling the door frame. Once the positions for the doors and windows were determined, he continued to stack stones upward along the framework. This ensured the wall fit perfectly with the doors and windows, avoiding any gaps. To make the interior more bright and airy, he also reserved a small window on the back wall. Finally, he mounted a curved log above the fireplace, then found some flat stone slabs and pieced them together into a small tabletop, which can be used to hold small items like spice jars. As the walls were gradually stacked to the ideal height, Aqiu started preparing to seal the roof. First, he dug a deep pit in the clearing in front of the door, then went into the woods and picked a sturdy tree trunk, sawed it down. Removed the bark from the surface to prevent insects. Then put it into the fireplace for carbonization. During this interval, he brought over another straight and thick log. Using an axe, he chopped a smooth and flat cross-section so it could make tighter contact with the wall. After that, Aqiu returned indoors, mixed some clay, and piled it on top of the eaves. Then slowly hoisted the prepared log up as the main beam of the roof. Next, he buried the carbonized tree trunk into the pit, tamped down the soil to secure it, using it to support the extending part of the tree trunk. The main beam on the other side was done exactly the same way. This area serves as a simple porch. Once the roof is properly sealed later, it will effectively block the sun and rain at the doorway. Afterwards, he placed the remaining main beams into position, drilled holes at the connection points, and hammered in wooden pegs to secure them. After that, he set off again, searching carefully in the nearby woods, collecting as many tree trunks as possible. Placing them tightly side by side on the roof. Drilling holes and hammering in wooden pegs to firmly attach them to the main beams. Finally, he cut off the excess parts on the edges, making the roof's outline neat. Immediately after, Aqiu brought stones, climbed onto the roof, and started building the fireplace chimney. After all, without this, Santa Claus wouldn't come deep into the mountains. However, a roof made only of tree trunks is not enough to keep out the wind and rain, so he gathered a large amount of hay from around the area and laid an even layer on the roof, mainly for insulation. Next, he dug a drainage ditch behind the house and used the piled-up soil according to the previous ratio to mix up clay once again, smearing it evenly over the hay layer and repeatedly leveling it to avoid depressions that could cause water accumulation. and the structure he specifically designed, higher in the front and lower in the back, also allows rainwater to flow away quickly along the slope. After finishing the roof, Aqiu didn't even have time to rest. He brought stones, and along the edge of the clearing in front of the door, built a low border ring to intercept rainwater from the hillside, preventing it from flooding into the house. While he was at it, he also laid stone slabs on the clearing, transforming the muddy ground into a clean and tidy stone platform. Waiting for the clay between the stone gaps to dry, Aqiu brought a few more logs, planning to build an outdoor dining table on the platform. The view here is unobstructed, allowing him to take in the panoramic forest scenery. Afterwards, he returned indoors, set up an enclosure along the edge of the bed, first laying a layer of clay in the gaps, then neatly placing wood segments inside, completing a heated bed that can keep warm. Then he set up a few logs on the window frame, extending a windowsill inward, making it convenient to place potted plants or small ornaments later. Following this, he covered the indoor floor entirely with flat stone slabs as well, making it both clean and moisture-proof. Next, he just needed to wait for the clay to slowly dry. The next day, Aqiu was still busy indoors. He planned to build a dining table right against the wall. This way, everyday sundries would also have a place to be stored. After settling all the indoor furniture, he used leftover wood blocks to piece together a window frame, found a discarded piece of glass in the junk pile, slotted it into the gap of the window frame, installed it in the reserved spot on the back wall. The size fit perfectly. As for the largest window facing inward, Aqiu decided to seal it with an acrylic board. This material not only effectively blocks wind and rain, but also has the same light transmittance as glass. Enjoying the outdoor scenery while sitting on the bed will not be affected at all. Once the windows were sealed, it was time to handle the entrance door. He specially selected several logs of hard texture. He chose not to use iron nails to fasten them, but used a mortise and tenon structure to piece the wood segments together, crafting a thick and sturdy wooden door. With this door, the sense of living security instantly increased. Having finished these tasks, the main construction of the stone house was basically complete. But Aqiu looked at the still empty courtyard, feeling it lacked some liveliness. So he picked up the remaining logs again and made 2 high stools. If friends come over in the future, they'll have a place to sit down. Then, by the window with the best view, he assembled a simple lounge chair, imagining that when he has free time later, sitting here, soaking up the warm sun, would be extremely comfortable. To prevent wild beast attacks in the forest, Aqiu selected a few more logs, carbonized them, measured out the perimeter around the cabin, and built a solid fence. After some hammering and knocking, the fence was finally completed. Solid logs surrounded it layer by layer, forming a safety barrier, while also making the originally somewhat messy courtyard neat and orderly. He also specially planned the space enclosed by the fence into a private garden, planning to plant some forest flowers and grass in the future. The leftover turf could perfectly cover the roof to prevent rain from washing away the soil and further improve the indoor insulation. At this point, the construction of the stone house had completely come to an end. To celebrate this important moment, Aqiu specially prepared barbecue, setting up a grill in the fireplace to reward himself for the hard work of the past few days. Having eaten and drunk his fill, he officially started his solitary life in this forest.